Hi, this is Reddit Confessions channel. It was supposed to be a casual night. Just some wine, board games, and light-hearted conversation with her work friends. But then she said it, loud and clear, in front of everyone. Either do what I say, or pack your bags. The words hit me like a slap in the face, cold and unrelenting. I don't remember standing up. I don't remember pushing the chair back. But I remember the screech of it scraping against the hardwood floor, and the way the room fell silent, dead silent, like someone had just pulled the plug on sound. Her smile, tight, calculated, like she had just made her point. It was game night, also I thought. 4 years of marriage, and here I was, the invisible husband, the one who fixed the router, ran errands, and faded into the background when photos were taken. I wasn't supposed to have a voice, but tonight, I did. It all started when I answered a trivia question wrong. That's all it took. One wrong answer. She leaned across the table and said, "Sweetie, if you're not going to be useful, can you at least not embarrass me in front of my friends?" The laughter from the table stung. It wasn't everyone, but it didn't matter. Then she dropped the line, cold as ice. I told him before. Either do as I say, or pack his bags. There it was. Again. Like she had rehearsed it. Like it was just a part of the script. I didn't plan to react. But the moment she said it, something inside me snapped. I stood up and looked at her, steady. "Do you want me to leave now, or should I wait until dessert?" This time, there was no laugh. No playful remark, just stunned silence. She blinked twice like she needed to process it. "Oh, come on, Holden. Don't be dramatic. It's just a joke," she said, trying to laugh it off. A joke. I picked up my jacket, my phone buzzing in my pocket with group chat notifications. I didn't check it. I just walked out. As I made my way to the elevator, I remembered I left my keys in her purse. I went back in, but the second I opened the door, I heard them. Her coworker, King, laughing. Damn, he actually left. I didn't think he had it in him. Her voice followed, sharp and dismissive. "Give him 5 minutes. He always comes crawling back." There it was. The betrayal, the cruelty. They thought he'd cave. They thought I would slink back into the shadows, begging for forgiveness. They were wrong. I didn't crawl back. Instead, I drove aimlessly for hours. No music, no destination, just me and the hum of the engine and the replay of every second of that night in my head. When I finally parked, I sat in the car, looking up at our apartment window. The light was still on. She hadn't called. She hadn't texted. But I didn't know then that she had sent a message, and it wasn't to me. It was the first domino in a series of events I never saw coming. The moment the truth came crashing down, I didn't sleep that night. Not even close. I parked a couple of blocks from the apartment, reclined the seat, and stared at the ceiling. Her voice was still echoing in my head. Not the words exactly, but the tone arrogant and dismissive, like I was just a piece of furniture she was trying to replace. I thought he'd go back in the morning, pack some things, maybe even talk. That was the plan. But plans don't mean much when your reality is already rotting beneath you. At around 5:40 a.m., I went home. She was asleep, her face buried in the pillow, one leg draped across my side of the bed like she owned it. I moved quietly, grabbed a gym bag, and stuffed it with clothes. As I stood in the hallway, staring at the wedding photo by the door, I realized I no longer recognized the life it represented. It felt like someone else's story. As I reached for my teas, her iPad lit up on the nightstand. I don't make a habit of snooping, but that moment I had to know. There was a message from someone labeled K. "Hey, still sulking? Want me to stop by later?" My heart sank. I tapped the thread. It wasn't just one message. It was a thread of casual cruelty. "K, you seriously used the pack his bags line again. He shuts down. Classic Alden. Serafina, it always works. He goes quiet. K, you're cruel. Serafina. It's hot. K. I don't mind taking over the broken project. Want it? Serafina. Then it's yours. Sooner than you think. I dropped the iPad without even realizing it. The world tilted, and I realized I wasn't the problem. I was just the convenient one. She didn't see me. She saw a placeholder. I walked out again, but this time, I didn't go far. I parked across the street and watched our apartment window. At 9:12 a.m., I saw Keen show up. He didn't knock. He had the code to the door. She gave him that. When the curtains closed at 9:15, I felt a sickening humiliation. The kind that stings deep, like every time I tried to hold us together while she auditioned replacements. Like every meal I cooked, every late-night text saying, "I miss you," had been just background noise. I didn't go back to confront her. I didn't scream. I just drove for hours. I ended up at a rest stop 90 miles away, sitting on a concrete bench, surrounded by strangers, trying to remember when I stopped being a person and became someone else's script. The breaking point, I didn't respond to Serafina's message. "Where are you?" "You left the garage door open," it said. Not "I'm sorry," not "we need to talk," just a passive-aggressive comment about the garage door. That's when I realized I was never her partner. I was a prop, an accessory in her perfect, curated life. But now that I was off script, she didn't know what to do. I drove back to the apartment, my phone buzzing with a notification from her. This time, I didn't even open it. I just turned off my phone and drove to a campground I used to visit with my dad when I was younger. The next day, I went to see a lawyer. I didn't want revenge. I didn't have the stomach for games. I just needed to reclaim my name. I started preparing for the legal battle, not for drama, but for the truth. And then, everything changed again. 2 days later, I got a message from someone I never expected, an anonymous tip about Serafina's past. The woman had done this before, to someone else, and she was still playing the same game. The final piece fell into place. Serafina had been manipulating, lying, and stealing for years, but now the truth was out. I was no longer the fool. I wasn't going to let her rewrite my life. The final chapter, the last message from Serafina, was filled with empty threats. "You think you've won? You haven't. You'll regret this." I didn't respond. I didn't need to. I was done. Weeks passed. I took everything from her that she thought I couldn't replace: my father's pocket watch, my dignity, and my ability to be manipulated. In the end, I found peace. And when I realized I didn't need her to validate my worth, that's when I finally felt free. I walked away, not in rage, not in despair, but in quiet, final understanding. Some things don't get fixed. They end. And I wasn't going to be part of her story anymore.